This is Rummy's Corner.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. got his first opportunity to fight for a major world title on October 3rd, 1998, when he challenged WBC junior lightweight champion Genaro Hernandez. Mayweather took control early on and he never looked back. Hernandez was trying his best, but he was unable to cope with Floyd's speed and movement. At the end of round 8, Hernandez's corner informed referee Jay Nady that they were stopping the fight. It was an 8th round stoppage, and Floyd Mayweather Jr. had just become the new 130-pound WBC champion. Mayweather made the first defense of his title on December 19, 1998, when he faced challenger Angel Manfredi. Floyd drilled Manfredi with a mean right hand in round 2, and Mayweather jumped on him with a lengthy barrage of unanswered punches that were finding the mark with pinpoint precision. Referee Frank Santore stepped in and called a halt to the action. It was a second-round technical knockout for Pretty Boy Floyd. Mayweather made the second defense of his 130-pound title on February 17, 1999, when he squared off against Carlos Rios. Mayweather thoroughly outclassed Rios right from the start, and despite his best efforts, Rios was simply no match for Floyd. At the end of 12 rounds of action, Floyd Mayweather Jr. was awarded a unanimous decision victory, with final scores of 120 to 110, 119 to 108, and 120 to 109. On May 22, 1999, Mayweather made the third defense of his WBC Junior Lightweight Championship when he went up against Justin Juco. Mayweather quickly established his range and distance and was very accurate with his offense as he prevented Juco from finding any type of rhythm. In round 9, Floyd unloaded a short combination that dropped Juco. Referee Mitch Halpern counted him out. It was a 9th round knockout for Floyd Mayweather Jr., who now had 3 successful title defenses. Mayweather made the 4th defense of his 130-pound title on September 11, 1999, when he took on challenger Carlos Herrera. Mayweather scored 2 knockdowns in the opening round, and Floyd coasted from that point as he dominated the range by using superb footwork and flashy combinations. It was target practice for Mayweather, and at the end of round 7, per the advice of ringside physician Flip Hamansky, referee Richard Steele stopped the fight. On March 18, 2000, Mayweather made the 5th defense of his 130-pound WBC title when he was pitted against Gregorio Vargas. Vargas was game, but Floyd's all-around quickness was causing him lots of problems. Mayweather dropped Vargas with a quick left to the body in round 6. Floyd continued controlling the action, but Gregorio's positioning was usually good enough that he typically limited Floyd to just 1 punch at a time. At the end of 12 rounds, Mayweather was awarded a unanimous decision victory, with 2 judges scoring it 119 to 108, and the other judge having it 118 to 109. Mayweather made the 6th defense of his WBC Junior Lightweight Championship when he squared off against Diego Corrales on January 20th, 2001. A pattern quickly emerged where Mayweather was sticking and moving and completely in his comfort zone, while Corrales was unable to close the distance as he was looking to land something big. Mayweather dropped Corrales 3 times in round 7 and twice more in round 10. After Corrales was down for the 5th time, his corner stopped the fight. It was a 10th round technical knockout for Floyd Mayweather Jr., who now had 6 successful title defenses. On May 26, 2001, Mayweather made the 7th defense of his 130-pound WBC belt when he went up against Carlos Hernandez. Mayweather was generally controlling things by jabbing and moving throughout the contest. But Mayweather suffered an official knockdown in round 6 when his glove touched the canvas, and Hernandez had a point deducted in round 12 for elbowing. Mayweather had some difficulties in this one, but at the end of 12 rounds, he was awarded a unanimous decision victory with final scores of 119 to 109, 116 to 111, and 117 to 109. Mayweather made the 8th defense of his WBC junior lightweight title on November 10th, 2001 against Jesus Chavez. Mayweather seized command early. Chavez tried bravely battling as best he could, but he was absorbing a beating as Floyd started ripping him with a slew of wicked uppercuts. At the end of round 9, Chavez's trainer Ronnie Shields had seen enough, and the fight was over. It was a 9th round TKO for Floyd Mayweather Jr. in what amounted to his 8th and final title defense at 130 pounds. On April 20th, 2002, Mayweather moved up to 135 where he challenged WBC lightweight champion Jose Luis Castillo. This one turned into a fiercely competitive, prolonged war of attrition where both boxers battled it out for the entire 12-round duration. Castillo had some difficulty dealing with the skills and speed of Floyd in the early going, but he adapted well and forced Floyd to fight outside of his comfort zone. Mayweather did better work in the first half, Castillo came on strong in the second half, and on the whole it was a mighty engaging contest. At the end of 12 rounds of action, Mayweather was awarded a unanimous decision victory, with 2 judges scoring it 115 to 111, and the other judge having it 116 to 111. With the victory, Mayweather had become the new WBC 135-pound champion, marking him as a 2-division world champion. But the verdict was controversial, and many observers believed Castillo deserved to win. Mayweather made the first defense of his WBC lightweight title in an immediate rematch with Castillo on December 7th, 2002. This time there would be no controversy. Mayweather controlled the action with a snappy jab and a sneaky lead right, while expertly controlling the range with stellar footwork. Castillo was frequently off balance, and despite his best efforts, he was unable to turn things into a slugfest. At the conclusion of 12 rounds, Mayweather was awarded a unanimous decision victory, with 2 judges scoring it 115 to 113, and the other judge having it 116 to 113. On April 19, 2003, Mayweather made the second defense of his lightweight championship when he squared off against Victoriano Sosa. Mayweather was able to methodically pick Sosa apart upstairs and down with a sublime jab. Sosa did appear to have Mayweather in some trouble during the 6th round, but Mayweather maintained his composure and resumed dominating the action thereafter, where he was frequently making Sosa miss. At the end of 12 rounds, Mayweather was awarded a unanimous decision victory. 2 judges had it 118 to 110, and the other judge had it 119 to 109. Mayweather made the third defense of his WBC lightweight title when he squared off against Philip Endo on November 1st, 2003. Pretty boy Floyd dominated the action in this one. Endo was on the receiving end of a wide assortment of punches as Mayweather exploited the many holes in the puncher's defense. Mayweather floored Endo with a series of crisp right hands, and referee Frank Garza called a halt to the action. It was a 7th round technical knockout for Mayweather in what amounted to his 4th and final defense at 135 pounds. On June 25, 2005, Mayweather moved up to 140 pounds when he challenged WBC junior welterweight champion Arturo Gatti. Mayweather dropped Gatti in the opening round when the champion lost situational focus and Floyd pounced on the opportunity. From there on out, this was a mismatch of epic proportions. Mayweather masterfully dominated Gatti in one-sided fashion, and after absorbing tremendous punishment, Gatti's trainer Buddy McGirt stopped the fight at the conclusion of round 6. With the victory, Mayweather had become the new WBC welterweight titleist, which made him a 3-division world champion. Mayweather's next championship bout happened on April 8, 2006, when he challenged IBF welterweight champion Zab Judah. The champion had success in the early going as he utilized his quickness and aggression out of a southpaw stance. Mayweather adjusted and he seized control in the 5th and never looked back. Some chaos erupted in round 10 after Judah nailed Floyd with an illegal rabbit punch. And when order was restored, Mayweather continued outboxing Judah for the rest of the duration. After 12 rounds, Mayweather was awarded a unanimous decision victory with scores of 117-111, 116-112, and 119-109. With the victory, Mayweather had become the new IBF welterweight champion, which provided him with the unique distinction of being a 4-division world champion. On November 4th, 2006, Mayweather challenged WBC welterweight champion Carlos Baldomir. Mayweather had relinquished his claim to the IBF belt prior to this matchup, and as for the match itself, it was a very one-sided affair. Mayweather thoroughly outclassed the plodding Baldomir throughout the entire contest with speed, precision, and a fine display of defensive prowess. At the end of 12 rounds, Mayweather was awarded a unanimous decision victory with one judge scoring it 118-110 and the other 2 judges scoring it a 120-108 shutout. On May 5th, 2007, Mayweather moved up in weight to challenge WBC junior middleweight champion Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar had some success during the first competitive half of the contest, as he was able to give Floyd some problems with a pesky jab where Mayweather was content to pick his spots and counter. But Floyd made adjustments, and he was able to neutralize Oscar's jab throughout the second half of the fight. Mayweather was also landing better and harder in the later rounds, and whenever he made Oscar miss, he usually made him pay. Mayweather was boxing well and he finished strong as De La Hoya was never able to re-establish his earlier rhythm. At the conclusion of 12 rounds, Mayweather was awarded a split decision victory. One judge had it 115-113 for Oscar, overruled by the other 2 judges who had it for Mayweather 115-113 and 116-112. With the victory, Mayweather had become the new WBC 154-pound champion, providing him with the recognition of becoming a 5-division world champion. On December 8, 2007, Mayweather moved back down to 147, where he made the first defense of his WBC welterweight championship when he squared off against Ricky Hatton. The early going was competitive, where Hatton was trying his best to make Floyd uncomfortable, but Floyd was boxing more effectively. As the rounds progressed, Floyd gained momentum, and in round 10 he dropped Hatton with a sneaky check hook. Hatton beat the count, but Floyd soon had him down again, and the fight was over. It was a 10th round TKO for Mayweather, who briefly retired after this contest. Mayweather's next championship bout took place on September 17, 2011, when he challenged WBC welterweight champion Victor Ortiz. Mayweather controlled the action in the early going. Referee Joe Cortez deducted a point from Ortiz in round 4 for a deliberate headbutt. When action resumed, an apologetic Ortiz wasn't paying attention, and Mayweather pounced on the opening with a brutal 2-punch combination. Ortiz was down and he would not be beating the count. It was a 4th round stoppage for Mayweather, who was now a 2-time welterweight champion, having just reclaimed the belt that previously belonged to him. On May 5, 2012, Mayweather ventured north to challenge WBA junior middleweight champion Miguel Cotto. Mayweather controlled the action in the early rounds, but at times the defensive master was showing a greater willingness to stand and fight than usual. Cotto was having some spots of success during the middle portions of the fight, but Mayweather never lost focus and was still able to outbox and outthink Cotto throughout most of the rounds. At the conclusion of 12 rounds of action, Mayweather was awarded a unanimous decision victory, with two judges scoring it 117 to 111, and the other judge having it 118 to 110. Mayweather was now a two-time junior middleweight champion, having just beaten Cotto for his WBA 154-pound belt. Mayweather moved back down to welterweight on May 4, 2013, when he made the first defense of his second reign as the WBC champion against Robert Guerrero. After a couple of relatively competitive rounds in the early going where Guerrero had limited success, Mayweather soon found his range and thoroughly outclassed Guerrero in a vintage Floyd-like performance. Mayweather was awarded a 12-round unanimous decision victory, with all three judges scoring the bout 117 to 111. On September 14, 2013, Mayweather challenged unified WBA, WBC junior middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez at a catch weight of 152 pounds. Strangely enough, Mayweather was also still recognized as a junior middleweight champion by the WBA going into this one. Mayweather's superior quickness and reflexes became quickly apparent in the early going, and this would ultimately become the story of the fight. Mayweather was simply too fast, too skilled, and too smart for Canelo. It was a sensational dominant effort from Floyd Mayweather Jr. Canelo was thoroughly outclassed for the entire 12-round duration. The fight, however, was officially ruled a majority decision, where one judge inexplicably scored the bout a draw at 114 apiece, overruled by the other two judges who had it 116 to 112 and 117 to 111. Mayweather returned to welterweight on May 3, 2014, when he made the second defense of his WBC title in a unification bout against WBA champion Marcos Maidana. This was a hotly contested, intriguing clash of styles between Maidana's aggression and Floyd's aptitude. Maidana was effectively attacking Mayweather and forcing Floyd outside of his comfort zone. Maidana was mixing up his angles well and having success over the first half of the fight, whereas Mayweather made adjustments and found a better groove in the later half of the fight. It was a hard-fought effort from both boxers, and at the end of 12 rounds, Mayweather earned a majority decision. One judge had it 114 apiece, overruled by the other two who had it 116 to 112 and 117 to 111. With the victory, Mayweather had become the new, unified WBC, WBA welterweight champion. Mayweather made the third defense of his welterweight championship in an immediate rematch with Maidana on September 13, 2014. Technically, Mayweather's junior middleweight belt was also on the line here. Mayweather seemed far better prepared for Maidana this time around. Maidana was never able to effectively apply the same type of pressure that gave him spots of success in their first encounter. Mayweather comfortably outboxed Maidana without much incident. At the end of 12 rounds, Mayweather was awarded a unanimous decision victory, with one judge having it 115 to 112, and the other two judges both scoring it 116 to 111. On May 2, 2015, Mayweather made the fourth title defense in a unification bout against WBO welterweight champion Manny Pacquiao. Mayweather took command of the range early with quickness and movement. This basically became the story of the fight. Pacquiao was sometimes effectively applying pressure at various points in the middle rounds, but for the most part, Mayweather was able to stay out of harm's way while comfortably boxing Pacquiao from a safe distance. Pacquiao was never able to establish a real rhythm, and in those rare moments Manny found a favorable distance, he wasn't particularly effective with his offense. At the end of 12 rounds, Mayweather was awarded a unanimous decision victory, with two judges scoring it 116 to 112, and the other having it 118 to 110. Mayweather made his fifth welterweight title defense on September 12, 2015, when he squared off against Andre Berto. This one was a mismatch where Floyd was far too skilled for Berto. Mayweather was in complete control of the action from start to finish. Floyd was consistently beating Berto to the punch, and he was showcasing his ample skill set both offensively and defensively like a true master craftsman. At the end of 12 rounds, Mayweather was awarded a unanimous decision victory with scores of 117 to 111, 118 to 110, and 120 to 108. Mayweather had defended his unified WBC/WBA welterweight crown in what wound up being the last championship contest during his long and illustrious Hall of Fame career. In conclusion, with regards to championship contests, at junior lightweight, Floyd had 9 victories, 6 of those victories coming by way of knockout. At lightweight, he had 4 victories with 1 knockout. At junior lightweight, he had 1 victory, which was by knockout. At welterweight, he had 9 victories, 2 of those coming by knockout. And at junior middleweight, he had 3 decision victories, with the note that one of those fights was at a contracted catch weight of 152. So the final championship record for Floyd Mayweather Jr. consisted of 26 contests, with 26 victories, 0 defeats, and 10 of those victories coming by way of knockout. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed, and have a wonderful night. This is Rummy's Corner.